It has been such a good day for anime. I mean, as you can see on screen, Spy Family, oh man, I love this. I'll talk about this in a second. To the My Hero Academia episode that was just a straight up banger. To also the Uzaki-chan Season 2 premiere. And I know not everybody cares about that one. And I'm probably not even going to make a video on it. But Uzaki is also one of my guilty pleasures on the side. And I absolutely love that series too. And it's been back-to-back good shows. And this episode really is like the icing on the cake. Like Spy Family Core 2, not Season 2, Core 2, because people are going to say that this is Season 2. But, this episode is just such a good highlight to finish the day off for, like, good anime. Because it's so precious. It's what I talked about when I reviewed the first season. I was like, when you sit down and you watch this show, you just feel good. You get that good, bubbly feeling. It's precious, it's cute, and you get to see a very wholesome family with, you know, Lloyd, Yor, and Anya. It's just like, it's so good. It's so fun. And it's obviously nothing that is like reinventing the wheel. It's nothing that is like the best thing since sliced bread. But it is still such a fun series to watch. In episode 1 of Core 2, or episode 13 in this case, technically, for keeping count of the episodes, this is, fun. And I want to take a few moments to actually talk about this ending sequence that, I think people could easily miss. So, I'm going to play this very briefly, because I don't want to get any copyright trouble. But I want you to pay close attention to Yor in the back here. So, if you look closely, you'll see Yor, she's in the back with the knife, okay? Pay close attention to her and what she does, because I want to stop the clip soon as it shows, okay? So, here we go. You see her literally chop that meat up so quickly. It is absolutely horrifying. Like, yo, you're being good with a knife, but oh, when you see something like that, she's like a murderer, like a slasher villain, just chopping that meat up and then throwing it into the, you know, the pot. I was just like, oh goodness, that's scary. Like, that's legitimately scary. Like, it is. So, all I'm saying is that, this is a really good episode. And the ending, I gotta say, I think I like it more than the opening. However, that is quite the disservice to the opening, which I'll talk about the opening in a moment, but this ending song is great. I love visually how it, like, rotates from, like, scene to scene. Like, you see the camera pan over to a new room in the house, and you see, like, the scene transition. It's a really fun ending song. I think that the people that designed this, they really wanted to showcase the household, the Forger household, and what goes on within individual room in different parts of the day, and I think that it's a really good feeling. Like, it's the essence of Spy Family. If I had to put it in words for what the ending song represents, it is the very essence of the series of family and spending time together while also harboring your own little secrets. Like, the ending of it is basically like showcasing that they're behind a mask, they're hiding things, and we all know they're technically are hiding things. So, just ending song, I think this is my favorite ending song so far of the anime season. Obviously, the anime season has just begun, but I still want to shout out this ending song. Just good. So, okay. Since we're on the topic, I guess let's talk about the opening song. This opening song, oh my. Okay, so I'm on the fence right now if I prefer this one over the first one. I really adore the first opening song of Spy Family, because it felt like a spy cartoon opening. Like, it just, the very tone of the original opening felt like that. And I don't think you could easily beat something that was that good. However, I think the tone of this opening song, even though I don't think it is as good, so to say, as the first, I'm not discrediting it in any way. Visually, I would probably say maybe this is better than the first opening. That's debatable, but visually I would say it's on par, maybe even beats it in some areas. And so, what I want to talk about, though, is something that was pointed out to me by my good friend Nama on social media. He told me that a lot of certain points of this opening is actually potentially from Lloyd's POV. Basically, the opening was designed in a way to showcase Anya, to showcase Yor, and yes, Lloyd does appear in the opening a few times, but for the most part, the opening is to kind of showcase Lloyd's perspective and what he sees within the world when he looks at his family. And if that really is the case, if that was the intention, so to speak, of the design philosophy of this opening, I think that's a really nice and symbolic detail, especially as someone that has read the manga. I'm not fully up to date. I'm like 7 chapters behind right now, but it's a good manga, and the anime, honestly, it's gonna keep it real, it's been better than the manga. Just gotta say it. But yeah, I think opening great. So let's move into the actual content. So the episode, typical dynamic with the family. You get to see, like, Yor, Lloyd, Anya have the little dynamic, and to kind of remind everybody what's going on within this episode, it was basically saying that thanks to Anya winning in the previous episode, like, you know, getting, like, a Stella, one of the stars and all that, she was able to get a reward, and her reward, or what she wanted, was a dog. And basically, the episode is Anya seeking to find a dog, and she obviously encounters a dog within this episode that, you know, she didn't technically want to instantly go after, but they kind of ran into each other, and thanks to the events at the end of this episode, most likely the dog that Anya is riding within this episode is probably going to be the dog she chooses. But, a few things that need to be talked about, though, is that this episode obviously has a darker subplot going on. You have Lloyd having to do one of his missions, to where he has to find out what's going on with this operation, this group that is trying to destabilize the East and the West and cause a war between them. And these individuals that Lloyd is trying to track down are using dogs, literally dogs, to use them to kill people. And I can't say the exact words, because if I did, YouTube would instantly demonetize this video, so I'm not going to say the words, but if you watch it, you'll know. But the point is that the dogs are put into a position to where they're going to get rid of high-tier officials. Lloyd has to put a stop to that, and obviously one of the dogs we meet is the dog that Anya finds. However, what's very interesting about the dog, like within this episode, is that you kind of find out that the dog has some weird psychic/esper ability, which you can instantly see the link from the way the episode presents it, that there's a link with the dog and Anya. Because we know Anya, we don't know her full past. Her history is still shrouded in mystery. We don't really know who her parents fully are. We don't really know what's happened. We just know that Anya was basically in an orphanage. She is able to be, you know, a mind reader. She can read people's thoughts, and that's about it. We know she's probably a part of an experiment of some kind. And this episode gives information to that there was a project called Project Apple that was using experimentations on animals to make them incredibly smart, which we got the dog here that is able to somehow see the future. That's at least what we know so far, but you could see there was a link. Because obviously, if you have an organization or a project that is for animal experimentation, they're probably going to push even further and go into human experimentation. And Anya most likely is one of the outcomes of those experiments at a very early age. So there is definitely a link between the two characters that is presented. I want to take a few moments to talk about some funnier moments of this episode. So there's a moment in particular that really made me laugh, and I have to comment on it. These buff, swole dogs right here. These swole dogs. There's a scene here where they literally start JoJo posing. Like, if anyone has watched JoJo, like Part 2 JoJo, with Joseph as the MC JoJo, and you have that iconic scene. Everybody memes it. It's one of the most iconic and memed scenes, at least for music-wise. It's like, awaken my masters, aye, 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 you know, that song that starts playing. Literally, the 3 dogs here start to literally JoJo pose like Pillar Men, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is obviously intentional. All we needed was some JoJo music put on top of that, and it would have been perfection. It would have. Like, if you had the menacing, like, sound effect in the background, and then you had the JoJo music, it would have absolutely been perfect for this scene. But obviously, sometimes less details is more impactful, and I think because of how subtle it was, and that some people could easily miss it, it makes the comedy of the scene even better. So just comedy on point. And comedy is subjective, obviously, but I still think the comedy was 100% on point for this episode. I also really like this scene where he has to use the bathroom, like Lloyd has to use the bathroom, and Anya literally says some dirty words, like cuss words. Like, he's like, oh, he's gotta go to the crapper and all that, and it's just like, Anya, watch your language! Like, holy crap, Anya, watch your freaking language. It was funny, man. I was laughing to this scene. It's so good. Just to make a long story short, I had a good time watching this episode, and getting to see Anya again, getting to hear all the voice actors of these characters, it's a fun experience. It's a fun 20 minutes out of my day that gives me a smile, and I'm able to share a little bit of that excitement with all of you out there. I guess I'll leave it at that for now, though. Great episode if you have yet to watch it. Looking forward to where it's going to go next. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below how you felt about this episode of Spy Family. But with that, I love you all. Be safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out.